Good afternoon, scaredy cats. Hope you enjoy the video today and please like, comment, and subscribe. 1. The clown in the closet. The young girl was excited to move into her new house, but as soon as she began to unpack her things, she felt an uneasy presence. As she was putting away her clothes, she opened the closet door and found a clown doll sitting on the shelf. The doll had a sinister grin and seemed to be staring straight at her. She dismissed it as just a creepy doll and closed the door. However, when she woke up the next morning, she found a note on her nightstand. It read, "I'm watching you." The girl was terrified and assumed it was just a prank by her little brother, who loved to scare her. But the next night, the girl heard rustling in her closet. She peeked inside and saw the clown doll had moved from the shelf to the floor. The girl was sure she had left it on the shelf, and now it was closer to her bed. The next morning, she found another note, "I'm getting closer." The girl was now convinced that the doll was alive, and she couldn't explain how it moved around her room. The girl tried to get rid of the doll, but it always ended up back in her closet. She started to research the history of the house and discovered that the previous owners had a daughter who loved clowns. She died tragically in the house, and her favorite clown doll was never found. The girl realized that the clown doll was the vengeful spirit of the previous owner's daughter, who was trying to scare her away. The girl knew she had to find a way to appease the spirit and bring her peace. She bought a bouquet of flowers and placed them in front of the clown doll. She whispered a prayer and apologized for disturbing the spirit's peace. That night, she slept soundly without any notes or movements from the clown doll. The next morning, the girl found a note on her nightstand, "Thank you." She never saw the clown doll move or received any more terrifying notes. The girl had finally put the vengeful spirit to rest, and she could finally feel at ease in her new home. 2. The Carnival Killer. The group of teenagers were excited to spend the evening at the carnival, enjoying the rides and attractions. However, as they made their way through the crowds, they noticed a creepy clown lurking nearby. The clown was tall, with a painted face and an unsettling grin. He seemed to be watching them. At first, the teenagers tried to ignore the clown and continue on with their night. But as they moved from ride to ride, they noticed the clown was always close behind. They started to feel uneasy, and a few of them suggested they leave the carnival. As they were making their way to the exit, the clown stepped in front of them, blocking their way. The teenagers tried to push past him, but the clown grabbed one of them, pulling him into the shadows. The rest of the group heard the screams and ran towards the noise, only to find their friend lying on the ground, motionless. The clown was standing over him, laughing maniacally. The group realized that the clown wasn't just a creepy carnival attraction, he was a serial killer who had been preying on visitors to the carnival for years. They tried to run, but the clown chased after them, his twisted laughter echoing through the night. As they ran through the carnival, the group stumbled upon a small security booth. They banged on the door, begging for help. The security guard quickly ushered them inside, locking the door behind them. The group huddled together, trying to catch their breath and make sense of what had just happened. As they looked out the window, they saw the clown disappearing into the crowd, his painted face a grotesque mask of evil. The teenagers knew they were lucky to have escaped the carnival alive. They vowed to never return to that place again and to always be aware of the dangers that could be lurking in the shadows. 3. The Clown in the Woods. The group of friends set out for a camping trip in the woods, excited for a weekend of adventure and fun. As they were hiking, they stumbled upon an abandoned circus tent. They were intrigued and decided to take a closer look. As they entered the tent, they noticed a clown sitting in the corner, his makeup smudged and his costume tattered. The clown welcomed them and offered to show them around the tent. They thought it was strange, but didn't want to be rude and agreed. As they walked through the tent, the clown showed them his collection of props and told them stories of his days as a performer. The group was fascinated and spent several hours listening to him. However, as the night began to fall, the group started to realize that something wasn't right about the clown. He would suddenly become agitated and violent, throwing objects around the tent and screaming at the top of his lungs. The group tried to leave, but the clown wouldn't let them. He revealed his true nature, telling them that he was a dangerous psychopath who had been living in the tent for years. He said that he had been waiting for new victims to arrive and that he wouldn't let them leave alive. The group was terrified and tried to fight back, but the clown was too strong. He began to chase them around the tent, wielding a knife and cackling maniacally. The group managed to escape the tent and ran for their lives through the woods. They could hear the clown's laughter echoing through the trees and knew that they were being pursued. They stumbled upon a ranger station and begged for help. The ranger quickly radioed for backup, and a search party was sent out to find the dangerous clown. After a long and terrifying night, the group was finally rescued and taken to safety. They were traumatized by the experience and vowed never to go camping in the woods again. They learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of exploring abandoned places and the importance of trusting their instincts. 4. The clown under the bed. The young boy had always been afraid of clowns. He would never go near them at the circus or at birthday parties, and he always tried to avoid any toys or movies featuring them. So when he started seeing a clown under his bed at night, he thought it was just his imagination. At first, the clown was just a vague shape, a blur in the darkness. But as the nights went on, the clown became more and more real. It would whisper to him, telling him to do things and taunting him with its twisted laughter. The boy tried to ignore it, thinking that if he didn't acknowledge it, it would go away. But the clown became more aggressive, grabbing his ankles and trying to pull him under the bed. The boy was terrified and didn't know what to do. He tried telling his parents, but they didn't believe him. They thought he was just having nightmares and told him to go back to sleep. The boy felt alone and helpless, trapped in his own room with a sinister clown lurking under his bed. As the nights went on, the boy began to realize that the clown was real and that it wanted to hurt him. He could see the malice in its eyes, and he knew that he was in grave danger. One night, the boy mustered up the courage to confront the clown. He crawled out of bed and stood in front of it, trembling with fear. The clown looked up at him, its mouth twisted into a cruel grin. The boy spoke firmly, telling the clown to leave him alone and never come back. At first, the clown just laughed, but then it seemed to hesitate. It looked at the boy for a long moment before disappearing into the shadows. The boy never saw the clown again, but he was forever changed by the experience. He learned that sometimes the things we fear most are the things that are real, and that it's important to face our fears head-on, no matter how terrifying they may be. 5. The killer clown car. The family was on a road trip, driving through a deserted stretch of highway when their car ran out of gas. They pulled into a gas station to refuel and saw a group of clowns nearby. The clowns offered to give them a ride in their car, and the family, grateful for the help, accepted. At first, the family thought it was just a harmless gesture, but as they drove with the clowns, they began to realize that something was very wrong. The clowns were acting strange, their laughter and jokes becoming more and more sinister. The family tried to leave the car, but the doors were locked, and they were trapped inside. They pleaded with the clowns to let them go, but the clowns just laughed and said they were going to have some fun. The family soon realized that the clowns were actually kidnappers, and they were planning to murder them. They were terrified and didn't know what to do. As they drove deeper into the wilderness, the family saw an opportunity to escape. They managed to unlock the doors and jumped out of the car, running as fast as they could into the woods. The clowns chased after them, their faces twisted into grotesque grins. The family knew that they were in grave danger, and they had to find help before it was too late. They stumbled upon a ranger station and frantically told the rangers what had happened. The rangers quickly called for backup, and a search party was sent out to find the dangerous clowns. After a long and terrifying night, the family was finally rescued and taken to safety. They were traumatized by the experience and vowed never to accept rides from strangers again. They learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of trusting people they didn't know and the importance of being aware of their surroundings. 6. The clown in the mirror. The woman had just moved into a new apartment, excited to start her new life in the city. But as she began to settle in, strange things started happening. Every time she looked in the bathroom mirror, she saw the reflection of a clown staring back at her. At first, she thought it was just her imagination, but as the sightings became more frequent, she realized that something sinister was going on. She started to investigate the history of the building and discovered a dark secret that had been kept hidden for years. Years ago, the building had been home to a traveling circus. The clowns who lived and worked there were notorious for their wild parties and dangerous behavior. One night, there was a tragic accident, and one of the clowns was killed in a drunken brawl. The woman realized that the clown she was seeing in her bathroom mirror was the ghost of the dead clown. She felt uneasy in her apartment and knew that she needed to find a way to get rid of the ghost before it was too late. She sought out the help of a psychic, who told her that the ghost was seeking revenge on the living for his untimely death. The psychic gave her a ritual to perform to banish the ghost and put his soul to rest. The woman followed the instructions and performed the ritual. As she did, she felt a cold breeze blow through her apartment, and the clown's reflection in the mirror disappeared. The ghost had been banished, and the woman felt a sense of relief wash over her. From that day forward, the woman never saw the clown again. But she knew that she would never forget the experience and the dark history of her apartment building. She learned that sometimes, the past can come back to haunt us, and it's important to be aware of the history of the places we live in. 7. The clown at the party. The group of friends had hired a clown to perform at their party. They were excited to have him there, thinking he would be a fun addition to their celebration. But as the night went on, they started to notice that something was off about the clown. He didn't seem interested in entertaining them or making them laugh. Instead, he was focused on watching them and taking notes. The friends grew increasingly uncomfortable, but they didn't want to ruin the party by asking the clown to leave. As the night wore on, the clown's behavior became more and more disturbing. He started making ominous comments, hinting at a dark past that the friends had tried to forget. Suddenly, the clown revealed that he was there to exact revenge for a past wrong that they had committed. The friends were shocked and terrified, not knowing what they had done to deserve this kind of punishment. The clown started to recount the details of the incident that had led him to seek revenge. The friends realized with horror that they had been responsible for a terrible accident that had injured the clown and ruined his career. As the clown moved in for his revenge, the friends tried to plead with him, begging for forgiveness and promising to make things right. But the clown was consumed by his desire for revenge and refused to listen. Just as it seemed like all was lost, the police arrived and arrested the clown. It turned out that he had a history of violent behavior, and the friends had unknowingly hired a dangerous criminal. Shaken by the experience, the friends realized that they needed to face up to their past mistakes and make amends for the harm they had caused. They learned a valuable lesson about the consequences of their actions and the importance of owning up to their mistakes. 8. The clown in the cornfield. The group of teenagers were out exploring a cornfield when they stumbled upon a tent hidden among the tall stalks. Curious, they approached the tent and were surprised to find a clown living inside. At first, the clown seemed friendly enough. He offered them candy and told them jokes, but as they tried to leave, he grew agitated and wouldn't let them go. They soon realized that the clown was not who he seemed. As they tried to make their escape, the clown pulled out a knife and started chasing them through the cornfield. The teenagers were terrified, not knowing how to get away from the crazed clown. They ran as fast as they could, but the clown was relentless. He seemed to know the cornfield like the back of his hand and was always one step ahead of them. Just when it seemed like they were doomed, the teenagers stumbled upon an abandoned farmhouse. They rushed inside, hoping to find a place to hide. But the clown was right behind them, his knife at the ready. In a moment of desperation, the teenagers banded together and fought back. They used whatever they could find to defend themselves, finally managing to subdue the clown and disarm him. Exhausted and scared, the teenagers emerged from the farmhouse victorious. They realized that they had narrowly escaped a dangerous situation and were lucky to be alive. From that day forward, the group of friends never spoke of the clown in the cornfield again. But they knew that they had learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of exploring unknown places and the importance of sticking together in times of crisis. 9. The clown in the elevator. The woman stepped into the elevator, feeling uneasy as she saw a clown already inside. The clown seemed to be staring at her, and as the doors closed, the woman realized that she was alone with him. The clown didn't say anything, but he started to move closer to the woman. She tried to move away, but the small space made it difficult. As the elevator descended, the woman started to feel more and more uneasy. Suddenly, she realized that the clown was not a human, but a demon in disguise. He had been following her, waiting for the right moment to possess her. The woman started to panic, knowing that she was trapped in the elevator with a demon. She frantically tried to press the emergency button, but it was no use. The clown demon had complete control. As the elevator descended, the demon started to whisper dark thoughts into the woman's mind. He told her that he was going to possess her and use her body to do his bidding. But the woman refused to give in. She fought back with all her might, using every tool at her disposal to resist the demon's influence. She recited prayers and mantras, visualizing a protective shield around herself. Finally, the elevator doors opened, and the woman burst out, panting and sweating. She realized that she had narrowly escaped the demon's grasp, and she was grateful to be alive. From that day forward, the woman was more cautious, always aware of the dangers that lurked in unexpected places. She knew that the demon clown would never give up, but she was determined to resist his influence and protect herself from harm. 10. The clown in the attic. The family was excited to move into their new house, but as they were exploring the attic, they found a strange clown doll hidden away in a box. It had a creepy smile on its face and an eerie aura about it. The family didn't think much of it at first and put the doll on a shelf in the living room. But as time passed, strange things started happening in the house. Objects would move on their own, strange whispers could be heard at night, and the family began to feel an unsettling presence around them. As they investigated, they discovered that the clown doll was not just a harmless toy. It was actually a vessel for a demon that had been trapped in the doll for years, waiting for a chance to escape. The demon had been using the clown doll to manipulate the family, trying to weaken their will and gain control over them. The family soon realized that they were in grave danger and needed to find a way to get rid of the doll before it was too late. They researched and sought the help of experts in exorcism and demonology. The experts confirmed that the clown doll was indeed a vessel for a powerful demon, and that it was seeking to possess one or more members of the family. The family tried to get rid of the doll, but every time they tried, strange things would happen that prevented them from doing so. They realized that they needed to perform a powerful exorcism to banish the demon from the doll. The family and the experts worked together, performing a ritual that involved prayers, sacred symbols, and holy water. It was a long and intense process, but finally, they managed to break the hold of the demon on the clown doll and banish it back to the abyss. The family felt a great sense of relief and peace after the exorcism, knowing that they had successfully protected themselves from the evil that was trying to take them over. From that day on, they kept a close eye on the objects in their new home, making sure that nothing like the clown doll could ever find its way back into their lives.